Good evening, everybody. It's Friday, and there's two of us on the panel tonight that are really not well, and one of us is glowing, as you can see.
I don't know if I should turn that light off. That's why I put my hat on. I can feel the heat hitting me off my head.
Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your Friday phone-in here on the Rangers Rabble. Hope everybody's well. Hope you're all doing good. Let everybody in the comments, please, as ever, like and subscribe. Aldo's already jumped into the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button, people. Please do it. It helps us greatly. I'll come to our sponsors and our advertisers shortly. But I thought I would start by being friendly and nice for a change, GD, because I'm not feeling very well. How are you, my friend?
Oh, you're weak. You're weak today, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm very good. It's good to get to a Friday when you've had a tough week at work. Tough week. So, a couple of Guinness and we'll have a wee chat.
Oh, well, yes, I'll be on the coffee. But yeah. Alan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, as well as I can be. Might come as a surprise, but I'm on the water.
Oh, jeez.
Friday, that's how bad things are. Friday night, I'm on the water.
If anybody knows Alan, then he's definitely not well if he's on the water. That's CGM, good evening. Yes, hello. Yeah, hello, everybody. It's a phone-in, of course, but we'll get to the phone lines will open in about 5 minutes' time. Excuse me. Oh, well. And we will take your calls. You can call about anything if you want to talk about the European game on Tuesday or on Tuesday past, or you want to talk about the Hibs game, possible transfers that might be happening that have come out of nowhere about people that I've never heard of. Then by all means, talk about that as well. JD, where do you want to start?
You can't put that back on me. I think it'd be good to talk about. Well, you're better off talking about what's happened. If you want to touch on the PSV, because I've not chatted to. I don't think we've really heard much from Alan about the PSV game, have we?
Well, do you know what? We've done our reaction and we've done my Euro debrief, Al. So we'll keep this quick. But yeah, I'll take it to you then. Since we haven't heard your thoughts on Tuesday, what was your thoughts?
We knew it was going to be a tough game, and we got a tough game. I would love to comment on our equaliser, but unfortunately they scored. I went for a pee, and then I heard the roar. So I never seen it until I got home. But by all means, it was a well-worked goal. It was a proper footballing goal, wasn't it? We worked the ball into the box well for Cholak. Our second goal, we could say we got a bit lucky. The keeper made a mess of it, let's face it. But you know what? Lawrence has got to put the ball in that position. He's got to put the keeper in the position where it forces him to make that error. So, fair play to him for trying that. He had a fairly quiet game up until that point, in my opinion. I was a bit surprised we heard him get man of the match in the stadium. As I say, we knew it was going to be hard. So, we got what we expected. We let ourselves down with set pieces. You think we'd have learned after the first one. There was one or two that you could say didn't really stand out, didn't really perform up to the standard that we would expect them to or have come to expect them to. But at the same time, I think there was one or two that got some harsh criticism. So Sands got really harsh criticism on social media for his performance, but I also saw his stats for the game that were absolutely incredible. I think the reason Sands gets stick is probably because he's not so great in there. And he's not as big as Bassey, let's face it. He's the player that he's currently replacing, he's nowhere near that size. Sands can improve that if he can bulk up a little bit, if he can improve on his aerial presence, then he could really make that position his own. Let's not forget that he's no centre-back by nature, neither was Bassey. And let's not forget as well, when Bassey came into that position this time last year, we were saying the exact same things about Bassey. He had to improve, he had to get better, he wasn't good enough for that position. So I think it was a bit unfair on Sands on Tuesday night for the criticism he got. But, if he can work on those things, then I think he'll settle into that role. And I don't think we need to go out and sign a centre-back. I know a lot of people say that, but we've got Suter there. We've not really seen much of Ben Davies. And let's not forget that Hellander's still there as well, I think. Unless we've sold him in the last couple of days and I've not realised.
No, do you know what? JD, sorry, somebody just shouted and I thought I heard my name. That's how vain I am. JD Sands, the criticism he's getting, I think that's always going to be the case for him, unfortunately. I think he's one of those players that us that no matter what he does, unless of course he scores like a winner against them or something like that. But he didn't put a foot, Alan's right, he didn't put a foot wrong on Tuesday.
I don't think so. I think if if he played like that every game, I'd be really happy with him. No, but in saying that, I wouldn't want him as my first choice centre half. He's not a centre back by trade. The boy's a defensive midfielder. I know he's played in a back three. He's now shown that he can probably play in a back four, but he's a defensive midfielder. So, and there, Ross is saying it. He had a better game in Goldson. These things are going to happen as the season goes on. Players are going to have wee dips and stuff like that. So, totally comfortable with him playing in there now. He's done it, and that's him just doing it against a top side. His stats were brilliant. I wouldn't have him in there by choice if everyone's fit. I don't think anybody would. But I couldn't believe it was later in Wednesday afternoon it started to rumble that he was terrible. And I don't understand it. I don't get it because he played well. I get that. Is there any young Rangers Scottish guy out there that he's keeping back for the team? I heard someone arguing on the radio the other night. But Leon King should be playing. Leon King's only 18-year-old. It's no time for Leon King to play in these type of games, especially a defender, because they mature later. So what's Sands? Is he 21? Something like that? So he's still young as well. He's a young boy. I think Alan's nailed it when he's talking about Bassey. Listen, we never thought where Bassey would have went to come the end of the season after his start of the season. So I'm comfortable. I think it's really harsh on Sands, really harsh.
Right, well, look, the phone lines are now open, 01416287237, if you want to get on the show. And I'm going to say this for the beginning this week. See when you phone, see if you can, if it gets answered and you can hear the show in the background. Firstly, mute your show that you're watching on the TV or on YouTube or wherever you're watching it. And I'll be able to hear you, the guys won't, but I will bring you in once there's a break in conversation. So don't hang up, you're going to get on. So yeah, 01416287237. If your number's withheld, it will not be answered for obvious reasons. So make sure your number is visible. JD, I want to come back to you because Alan has already kind of given his opinion on it. The centre-back situation that we have currently, Sands can play there, obviously. Lundstrom can drop back in there if needed. Hollander's still out. We're hearing rumours, and it's just purely rumours, that John Souttar's carrying another injury, which, let's be honest, I don't think that would be a massive shock to anybody if he was. So...
Who had 3 games into the season in our suite, by the way? Somebody must have thought it.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody did. So, JD, are we short but not short at centre-back, if you understand what I mean? Do we have to go out and get another and bring in another defensive player?
Nah, I don't think so. That's the short answer to that. I don't think we do. You've named a few people. I know it looks like there's some injury. I mean, what's the chat that Souttar's got a boot on his foot? He's fractured his ankle, something random like that. So, by the way, if that's true, then maybe we do. But you have said Lundstrom can go in. Maybe he does move to put 3, although we might not have 3, but maybe he does. No, I don't think we need it. We've got Sands. The one I'm a bit annoyed about is Davies. Rangers don't seem to be able to...
I completely forgot.
Rangers don't seem to be able to buy folk, put them in, and off they go. Matondo. I'll go back to the two loan summit signings for last season. We don't seem to get players, and I'm not going to make a comparison. We can make the comparison. Just buy a player, they play them, and they fucking hit the ground running. Doesn't happen for us all the time. Look at even Lundstrom last year, Bassey. I can name them all. This Davies boy, by the way, that's a big signing for Rangers. And he's in, he's out, he's not in. What's going on? Like, Sands does all right in there. He's not a centre half for me. However, if we need to play him in there, I'm totally comfortable against your Hibs and all that crowd. Totally comfortable. He done it against PSV, who I thought were arguably one of the best teams we've played for a long time. So I was saying no, Martin, but I don't know now. It depends if Souttar's injured. When's Hollander back?
I know these are all the questions. We do have our first call of the night, and it is Carol. Carol, how are you?
Oh, fine. I'm the same as Alan.
Handsome.
Joe likes goal. Seen it tonight. Great goal. But I agree with you about Sands. I think the boy's getting a bit of stick. I don't think he's really had a bad game. Sometimes he doesn't look comfortable. But he's getting there. He's quite good with the ball, on the ground. mean, you can't expect everybody to be a giant, but that's your buying policy, you know, for getting players. We'll buy injured players and then have to shove somebody in. Or players thrown to injury, or players that aren't getting a game with the club that they came to. You know, like Davis, everybody's screaming to see him. When was the last time he really played?
Mm-hmm. I know.
You know?
I know. So I'll ask you the same question that I asked the guys in, Carl. Are we light at centre-back? I know people are putting in the comments, you know, we've got Katic there, but clearly Gio just doesn't fancy Katic, so I don't see him playing much. So do you think we are still light then at centre-back?
I mean, see, sometimes I think Gio will have to rein his cell in a bit. He doesn't like somebody. If you've got them there, you should be able to play them. You know, I don't think we're light. We'll have to watch is picking up stupid yellow cards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Martin, can I jump on? I think that's a good point, by the way. Like, if Katic is in the squad and he's given him a number, then you need to be comfortable that he's your sixth choice centre half. And the reason I mean that is, okay, if we get stupid cards and injuries, then if he's your sixth choice, he's your sixth choice. If it comes to that stage, you need to play him. If he doesn't fancy Katic, then he needs to replace Katic, because we probably need, if you've got Suter and Hollander in your centre half pool, you can't have 4 centre halves. You need 6, and I mean that in the greatest respect. You need a cut of, maybe you need to trust Leon King to go and play in there, or you need to get another body in perhaps. And with bookings and all, which you're right, we do pick up stupid bookings. You could give a few suspensions and stuff. So he either needs to trust Katic, or he needs to ship him out, or take him out the squad and say, you're no part of my squad, so I don't even have you. And then we replace him.
I don't know what Katic is doing on a daily basis. I don't know if he's training with the first team or not, if he's even in contention for 6th choice. But I think you're right. If he is, then, you know, we're going to have to get rid of him. And, you know, at some point, the conversation is going to come back round to the man that's been sitting in the stands the last couple of games. Do we bring him back?
Do you know something? Can I completely switch the conversation, Carol, if you don't mind?
I don't mind at all.
I've Ross Clark in the comments, he just randomly, so I thought, you know what, I'll bring it up. I think you're the man that would probably be able to answer it the best, Carol. Can we talk about Wright being ahead of Matondo and Sakala for the right wing position? What's your thoughts on, obviously Scott Wright came on against PSV, Matondo was left on the bench. What's your thoughts?
I thought it was a bit silly. I would like to see Sakala, because that team were ropey at the back and all, because Sakala's got pace to burn, and so is Matondo. You know, we'll have to use these guys when we've got them. If they're in the squad, they've got to get used. We can't do the same with other players as we've done with Morelos at the end of last season. Let him play with an injury. And you end up 5 months he's not there. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm no great expert in medication and medical things, but if you let things go, they do get worse. You can't keep doing that. The only other thing I was wanting to mention about centre-backs was, for us shouting about we're a bit light here, you're only talking about left centre-back. What happens if Goldson gets a broken leg or something?
Well, I think...
We've nobody tried and tested in there, have we?
I think that would have been Suter's position if anything was to happen to Goldson, but of course Suter's...
That's what I thought Suter was bought for.
So
a replacement for him.
If anything happens to Goldson, JD, I mean, then we are in the thick of it, aren't we?
Yeah, but it's always a gamble, isn't it? You're looking at something like that.
Of course. I mean, the guy's played like 99.999% of the games.
Yeah.
How many yellow cards has he got in Europe?
I think he's one. I think he's one away, but I don't know if it gets cleared after.
I don't know if it gets cleared. That's the thing. Is it all right if I go? No, I've had a hell of a week, but this is the hell of a week's my problem. But you cut me off last week, Martin. I'll never forgive you.
I cut you off?
And I'm not doing right in mid-sentence I was nearly. Right.
Listen,
thank you very much for taking my call.
Carol, he does it to us all the time, mate. Don't worry.
It would be my Wi-Fi because I cut Ian Ross off as well. It comes through my computer, so it's completely my Wi-Fi. Sakala's an interesting one, Alan. Obviously, look, we're going to talk about the Hibs game as well, and we'll probably touch on the PSV game. And of course, it all depends on the people that phone in, what they want to talk about and what the people in the comments want to talk about. Alan, Sakala is a strange one. Do you see him as part of Gio's plans?
I really don't know, because he is a strange one. I know that he's been playing. He played in the bounce game behind closed doors a couple of days ago, which would tend to hint that excuse me, Gio wants him to get some minutes in his legs. I think Sakala, much like Wright, is the kind of player that we need in our squad. They're not going to be starters. They're not going to start against Celtic or in Europe or your big league games like tomorrow. I wouldn't expect either of them to start because it is a big league game going to Easter Road. But they're the kind of guys that you would expect to be able to come on against your lower opposition, play at Ibrox, and deal with those kind of that opposition, no problem. Give somebody a rest when they need to. So for me, that's Sakala and Wright's position. And by the way, I've said that a couple of times in the pod now about Wright in particular, and everybody will know that watched the pod throughout last season. I really want to like Scott Wright. I want to like him. I want him to be a great player. But the longer this goes on, I just think he's not going to be that first team in the team sheet. I don't think he was ever going to be that, but he's not going to be a regular starter. The thing that interests me, or sort of annoyed me a wee bit about the right wing position, is we've got two number 10s essentially in Lawrence and Tillman. And we've tried to play them both out wide right, both in the middle. Tillman looks like that's going to be his role. So for me, if Lawrence wants to be in the team, he's going to have to accept he's going to have to play a wee bit deeper, probably beside John Lundstrom. And you know what? We've actually got a right winger sitting on the bench in Matondo. We've not had one for years. Why is he not playing on the right wing? It absolutely baffles me. We've not had a right winger for years. We've been screaming out for one. We've been desperate for one since Candace left. Let's face it, we've not had a proper right winger since Candace left, and he's sitting on the bench. I know he wants to get Lawrence in the team because Lawrence, we've already taken to Lawrence, and that's brilliant. But Lawrence is going to have to accept, for me, he's going to have to accept playing a wee bit deeper and putting Matondo in that right wing position.
Sorry, my daughter's just having an absolute meltdown in the background, and I was worried that she was hurt, but something else has happened. Anyway, we do have another caller on the line. Caller ending 721. How are you doing?
Hello, it's Gaz 1983.
How are you doing, Gaz?
I'm no bad. Right, I've come down after Tuesday anyway.
Right.
Right. I've tried to phone in on Tuesday. Right. I've got an issue here. See Goldson. Mm-hmm. Right, with the first goal that was leading to the first goal on Tuesday, right, at a PSV goal. Why did he not block it? Yeah, if you watch the video, right, he got out the way instead of getting in front of the ball. The ball come in, right, and he seen the ball and he dived out the way for the ball getting in. If he had got in front of it, where the ball would have either hit him and come off him, then it would have prevented the goal, right? But he let it go, right, and moved it the way, which gave him that opportunity to score that goal.
JD?
I kind of made it clear on Tuesday that I wasn't too keen on Goldson in either of them. I know if people are thinking the ball comes in fast, Tillman misses a header, there's a bit of a ricochet, he doesn't have a chance to. I say that all the time, but this always happens with Goldson, not always, but it happens quite a lot with Goldson, that these ricochets and swinging a leg at it, it doesn't connect with and stuff like that. But I do personally think he could have done better.
Europa League final, guys, all over again.
Right, I've got another thing that I was going to say is, see, look at our team this season, right? I'm wondering if the players that we actually got ready, right, for Patterson, Bassey and things like that, that's all players that would have made a difference in this squad. We've made a big mistake with getting rid of Patterson because he could have been in that position where Goldson was and could have played a lot better in that defensive role, because I don't think that Goldson's got the heart for to be in the defence for Rangers. He spends most of his time running up instead of being back in defence, and that's where we're lacking, because we are players that should be in their positions and they staying in their positions.
Right. I think the problem is there. Sorry, I think the problem is
I was going to take that to you also. Yeah,
Patterson. It was Patterson would never play at centre back anyway. It was no his position. I understand your point about Patterson, Bassey, Aribo. You're right. Every single one of them would have improved the team this season. The problem is money talks. These clubs that they've went to have came in, particularly Everton and Ajax, have came in with huge lump sums of money for Rangers, and we are just not in a position to turn that down. Hopefully we will be now going forward. But we always knew that when the first couple of big offers came in for players, we were never going to be able to turn them down. we've had 3 now in quick succession. We'll hopefully get more money through the door on Wednesday night, Tuesday night, whenever it is we play, and Wednesday, and that means we're not in that position anymore. But we knew that was going to happen. Yes, every single one of us would have loved the 3 players to stay at the club, but unfortunately, realistically, it just wasn't going to happen. I'll go back to say that in hindsight, I thought it was the right idea. I thought it was the right move at the time, replacing them with players a bit younger. But in hindsight, I would have kept Leon Balogun, and I probably wouldn't have signed John Souttar, because the players that we've got in our defence now, he's always had the question mark over him. Since the day that it was announced he was signing, we had the question mark over John Souttar and his fitness. So probably the only one I would bring back, if I could, and we still could, by the way, is Leon Balogun.
JD, Gaz made a lot of good points there. The one thing I would massively disagree with, though, and I think a few people in the comments have, is Patterson right centre back.
I made a mistake with that.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'll let you. On you go.
I made the mistake with regards to that. It was because he was there that could cover Tavernier's position.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I just got mixed up a bit. But the biggest problem that I see time and time again, season after season, the players that Rangers do have, right, are players that could actually do a lot of jobs. And we've sold a lot of good players that would have made a difference to our squad, instead of holding up the players and just and try to strengthen up with other players for cover for each position, because we're not having the players to cover each position now. And this is where our problem lies. Like you were talking about with the pick-up injuries, what we've got to do, because we've not got players that will cover if Goldson gets suspended or gets injured. We've not got players that will cover a few of the positions.
Right. Well, JD, on that point, excuse me, it's fair game to criticise, recruitment, buying and selling policies and stuff like that. But there is no way on earth, and Alan mentioned it, that you can turn down, 12 million plus add-ons for Nathan Patterson, a young boy who had a handful of starts, and Bassey. There's no way you turn that money down.
Absolutely not. And I think Tav's, for me, the best player in the league. Now, people might argue against that, right? But for me, he's the best player in the league. So Patterson was never going to be your second choice right back. The boy was too good to be that, but we were never going to. Tav's going to be there. I think. See, for me, what guys are saying, but we lost the league last year. So for me, that's not good enough. Second place isn't. We expect to win the league every year. Whether they can tell us that's not happened for however many years or no. But so for me, it was. I probably thought after we won the league was time to refresh the squad. So I was actually pretty pleased with Matt, I want to bring up CGM's comment. I thought that's quite a good one as well. Like I probably agree with that. Like Rebo was brilliant at the start of the season, fades away and comes in and out of games. I firmly believe that a guy like Tillman and Lawrence could be more consistent in the Scottish League. That's not to say that Aribo won't go down south and become an absolute superstar, because I think he'll probably move on for Southampton. Bassey was a freak of nature, man. So it's hard to try and compare them ones, like losing Patterson, or particularly Bassey, because you're not going to replace it. That's an absolute one-off. We might not see that again in 10, 12 years, getting a guy like Bassey and moving him on the way we did. So the squad, I think, is all right. The injuries are my problem. By the way, see, once we get Souttar, Hollander and Roof back fit, what a squad we've got.
Yeah. Guys,
the thing is, it's easy enough saying that, though. But when it comes down to Souttar, I don't trust him. There's something about him I just don't trust, being in the position that in defence. I just don't see him as being a rated defender for him.
Oh, no, he's a good defender. Yeah. He had a ropey start, I get that, I've seen it. But then maybe our guys is right, because we watched him every week, Martin, doing the other podcast, and he was, at halfway through the season, he was the player of the year. Him and Craig Gordon were the best 2 players in the league, by the way. They were outstanding. He was brilliant. But that's different when you come to Rangers. You've got a different level of pressure. So you might be right, actually, guys, but I'm hoping not, because I do like Souttar.
I think Souttar's a good player. There's no doubt in that. Look how he played against us in the Scottish Cup final. It's just an example of that. That was just one game, I know, but it's an example of that. I think when he's fit, I trust him, but I just don't trust his fitness. I think every time he goes in for a tackle, I'll think, is he going to get back up for that? Every time he goes in for a 50-50, I'll worry he's going to lose it and hurt himself, because you do that. See, when you've been injured so much at times, if you go in for a 50-50, I've done it myself, you've been hit a couple of times, you lose that confidence, you go in for a 50-50, you flinch at the last second, you end up getting hurt. That's exactly what happens to players. So it's just it's that fitness side of it. But if he can come back fit, you do make a good point about Tav. We don't really have a second choice right back. The boy Devine's there.
Adam Devine and
yeah.
Sikowski. I don't know what's happened to Sikowski.
No. So
good enough.
No, listen, Devine's a good player. I've seen him play for the B team. Really good player. Still a bit lightweight. We've seen him involved in the first team, which is brilliant as well. Would I trust him to come in for a run of games at this point? He's development, probably not. Sikowski, we saw him once for the first team in the cup last season against Annan, was it? Saw him just the week before, saw him for the B team against Spartans, and he was bang average. It wasn't the best of games against Spartans, so it's maybe unfair to judge him on that, but he was bang average. And I just don't think he's going to be good enough to cut it at Rangers. I don't think he's going to be here much longer, to be perfectly honest.
Gaz, thank you very much for the phone call, buddy, and please do phone in again, because you've started a wee debate. I like it.
Yeah, Gaz.
Right,
which, by the way, is another point for bringing back Balogun, because he can play it right back.
Yes.
Alan's on this, isn't he?
Right, bye then.
Cheers, Gaz.
Cheers, Gaz.
Cheers, Gaz.
JD, could you take over for 2 minutes, please?
Aye.
Thank you.
What we're going to talk about?
Let's talk about Martin. Away for a joke. No, I'm not. Alan, let's just keep talking about the defence then, right? And it starts at the back. I listened to the radio on Wednesday. One of the first callers. No, I shouldn't have listened to it, right? Bad day. John McLaughlin was getting a bit of pelters again. How? I know there's a lot of people within our group chat. Where do you stand with the goalkeeping situation right now?
I really don't know. I don't know why we gave. I don't know why we gave McGregor the new contract. I do. It's all about the European players that we can register. If we were bringing in a goalkeeper, let's face it, be a foreign goalkeeper to replace McGregor. That means we're leaving somebody else out the European squad. Who would you leave out? We don't know. So we gave McGregor the contract to be second choice. McLaughlin's the first choice. That's the reason we gave McGregor the contract. McLaughlin, he's got a mistake in him, as did McGregor last season. He's got a mistake in him. The problem is when McLaughlin makes his mistake, it's right under the microscope, because the second he makes a mistake, everybody's saying, why is McGregor not playing? Because we all love McGregor. It's big shoes to fill. It was a similar point about Sands or whoever it may be replacing Bassey in that defence, whether it, regardless of what side it was on, or if it was centre half or left back, sorry. Whoever was filling those shoes was going to come under criticism, because it's big shoes to fill. So I really don't know. I would love McGregor to come into the team and be the Alan McGregor of old, and be worth 10 points to us a season and pull off those incredible saves that he pulls off in Europe that we saw all the way through last season as well. But I think it's McLaughlin's first choice. It's as simple as that. And we're just going to have to get used to it. We're going to have to get used to what we can expect. I think McGregor's a better shot stopper. McLaughlin comes for the balls a little bit more comfortably. I don't like any goalkeeper playing out for the back with their feet and trying to beat an attacker inside their own 18-yard box. It gives me the fear. So it's a hard one. I can understand both sides of the debate, to be honest with you, JD. I think McLaughlin will start tomorrow. He'll probably start on Wednesday. I think we'll probably see Alan McGregor against Queen of the South in the Cup. And that'll be the sort of roles that they both play this season. Whether or not we like it, whether or not we could debate it for hours and hours and hours. I'm sure everybody in the comments has got an opinion on it and could come on and tell us that their own opinion. But I think that's just the way it's going to be. We need to get used to the fact that McLaughlin's a first choice goalkeeper this season. It's his to lose.
Ironically enough, Walter Zenga was commenting there. We're talking about goalies, but talk about an aura, right? And I know a few people have said, "What do you mean an aura?" Right? I get what he's saying, right? Rangers have always had goalkeepers of a certain standard. And McGregor's one of them. Mm-hmm. I get what he's saying with John McLaughlin, right? He maybe isn't that type. However, John McLaughlin came in to the Scottish Cup team in a massive game. Our season could have been fucking over last year in that semi-final, and John McLaughlin came in and I thought played outstanding. I was about to do that there, Martin. John McLaughlin came in and was outstanding in that game, commanding his area. So I think he's coming into a bit of unfair criticism. I don't think he's done much wrong. I do agree, though, as soon as he makes a mistake, all the group chats, ping. McGregor would have saved that. But it's the same as me last year. John McLaughlin would have caught half of that.
You'd never have saved half of them. You'd never have saved half of them. No chance.
By the way, can I just say I apologise to everybody. I had a little small family emergency there. So the phone lines are back open. 01416287237. I've just caught what you were saying there, JD, and fantastic name. Under a Glass Metropolis. It said McLaughlin has done more than enough to be our number one. JD, I completely agree with that. I do not see. I mean, people are panicking about McLaughlin with the ball at his feet, but for me, he's looked impressive with the ball at his feet. He's no panic.
Yeah. I think what people are worried about, because we just see McGregor kick out the park for their throw in or slice it or punt it. We're now seeing John McLaughlin, who's totally confident in keeping that ball as late as possible and passing it. And folk don't like that. Folk are getting nervous. Like the most of us probably come from an era where, see these by kicks, man, we get hit the fear. All of us hit the fear.
Aye.
You've got the young boys.
You come to an era, JD, where people call them by kicks.
A by kick. All the young boys like Alex, they're all loving it. This is football. This is normal to them. Oh, Christ, we can't handle it. So John McLaughlin's cool at that. So
get defibrillator and standby for me in the Copeland Rear.
Yeah. Alan, you were probably a player who went back and took the by kick for your keeper anyway. So,
we have another call on the line, and it is Curry Muncher. Curry, how you doing?
I'm doing no bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad.
I had to come in because I was itching it a bit about the John McLaughlin. What are people on about with John McLaughlin? He's done absolutely nothing wrong. There was one save that he didn't make that was a ricochet, and everybody's criticising him. I just don't get it. I just do not get it at all. He pulled off 2 brilliant saves against USG. He pulled off a cracker against PSV as well. He's still made, I can't pick one out-and-out mistake. I'll tell a lie. There was one mistake he made, was the pass he made it to Sands. That's the only blaring mistake he's made. It's his first season in proper as a goalie. How are you supposed to get that aura? When McGregor first came into the team, did he have an aura that everybody was, was he John? It's Big Shagger in goal. No, they never. It's the same way any of our goalkeepers, when we first got them, the greatest goalie in Rangers' lifetime that we had, God rest his soul, had an absolute mare the first season he was at Rangers. And he was nearly getting kicked to Rangers.
That's true. And by the way, Ross Clark makes a point as well. A goal is only as good with the ball at his feet as the angles the defence makes for him to receive the ball, which is a great point. But also, Curry, I think what a lot of
All right, Ross.
I know, that's too much for the Rabble.
I know, that's too in-depth, isn't it? Curry, I think we all forget, when was the last time John McLaughlin had a right good run of games?
Exactly, this is what I'm saying. This is his first time he's really got into the team, and he's been obviously picked as number one, which he should be. Everybody loves Big Shagger. He's a brilliant goalie for it, and he's done amazing. But we seen last season, there was 6 games that he cost us goals. He never cost us the game because we managed to score more goals against it, whoever we're playing. But there was 3 games indefinite that he did cost us points. There was 9 points, and it was down to him.
I agree.
Only because he wasn't fast enough to move. You could see it. He still get the, God, what's the word I'm looking for?
Manoeuvrability.
Reaction.
That's it. He's not got the flexibility or the manoeuvrability to get a save and get back up quick. I just don't understand why McLaughlin is getting so much garbage for everybody. Give the man a chance. Let him get a season in. After a season, if he's still good enough, right, we'll go over and we'll try and get a top class goalkeeper. But don't just suddenly lay him after him before he's even but 4 games into the season. Come on.
But Curry, see, the thing is, Rangers fans, we don't give people a chance. We went through, we can name 3 or 4 legends of the club who we never gave a chance. Gorham.
I can see that right now. Brian Kent. I've fed up with him chances.
McCoist. So we just don't give folk chances, David, and that's just the way it is. So it'll be up to the player to turn it around, really, and make everybody like them.
Aye. The same with Goldson and all. I'm fed up giving him chances as well. And well done, Gaz, on pointing out that first goal. Because that's, first of all, the header, fair enough, the ricochet was unlucky. But see when the boy hits it, Goldson moved it the way in the box. And I'm like, what the hell? That was his fault. So well done, Gaz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, you brought it up, Curry, right? There's been a few people bringing it up tonight. What's your thoughts on Goldson? Because as far as I'm concerned, I think he's still a phenomenal defender, and I think he's still the best defender at our football club, centre-back-wise. What's your thoughts on him?
I disagree with that totally. He might be the best defender we have at the moment, but he's not a quality defender. He's anything but.
You know,
I'll never ever forgive that man for what he said at the Hibs Cup game. I'll never ever forgive him for that. And then I'm still a bit peed off with the situation with the way he signed for us as well. It was like a last gasp. Well, nobody else is coming in for me. I may as well sign for Rangers.
You don't know that for a fact, though. That's a bit unfair. And the Hibs thing, I can't really remember what it was that he came out and said, right? I know that a lot of people at the time were raging about it, but I don't know.
It's 2-0 down, Martin. He turned around and said, we knew that we weren't going to pull that back. We said there's nothing we could do about it.
Is that what he said, or did he not say that he looked at the players and he knew there was no way back?
I think in the written press, the comments were kind of blown out of proportion. I can't remember exactly what he said in the telly, but it was something along the lines of he looked round about the dressing room and knew they weren't coming back. We're 3-0 down at half time to Hibs in the League Cup semi-final. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I was raging. I paid, whatever it was, £35 for a ticket, £10 for my bus fare. I had to get really drunk that night because it was. I really wanted to forget that game really quickly. And I was the same. I was absolutely fuming at the comments. And I was angry at him for a long time after the UEFA Cup final as well for not putting his toe through that ball, to be honest with you. But we're not there. We're not seeing it as quick as it went in front of him. But I wouldn't say he's a bad defender. I think he's been our most consistent defender for a number of years. He's been solid. He was the first name in Gerrard's team sheet for a long, long time. He's probably one of the first names on Van Bronckhorst's team sheet. He is usually really, really, really reliable. There's been a couple of mistakes in him. We saw it, we saw it at the UEFA Cup final, the Europa League final. We saw it, during the week there, in there as well. He wasn't the strongest. There's been a couple of, but he's playing with a new partner as well, so that might take a wee bit of time to get used to as well, especially since his partner's been changing so much since the start of this season. I mean, it's only really Sands that he's played with 2 or 3 games in a row. So that'll take time to settle in as well, excuse me. But I wouldn't say he's a bad defender. I think he's been our most consistent defender. And I'm a lot more comfortable when I see his name on the team sheet.
Martin, see, Corey, just on that, listen, I think everybody was raging after that Hibs comments, right? And we are. But see now when the dust settled, and someone just mentioned it there, Posset Bear, he was right in what he said. We did gear up. They all shat it. So what he said was probably his crime was being too honest. Mm-hmm. You don't want to hear players saying that. It's like the time. What was the time Tav said something in his programme notes?
Yeah.
They were too honest, but actually looking back, they were fucking right. They were being truthful at the time. So we just don't like to hear that in the moment.
No.
But unfortunately, that's what happens. Because
I don't want to say, JD, I don't want to see that at our club where they give in, or even say that, I knew, but just looking at them, they give in. I mean, Alan, sometimes Goalson can be brilliant when he's on his game, he'll go through, but there are a few mistakes in him, and he always seems to do it in the big games, and I think that's how it stands out, is because it's the big games that he makes the big mistakes at. But I won't pick on the defence any longer. Do we need to improve on our set pieces? When was the last time we scored straight for a free kick? And I'm not talking about a shot like Lawrence, because that's just a fluke, that one, even though I think that'll happen more. But I'm actually talking about set pieces where the ball's coming in and we're getting somebody up there to head. And there's your man Goldson. When was the last time he scored a decent header? The other season there, he was doing it all the time. He's hardly done it at all this season.
I think that's maybe why.
But Alan, we do have people in there that can score headers.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest issues, personally, has been service.
Mm-hmm. From set pieces, yeah, absolutely.
From everywhere, service from everywhere. We've got Cholak in that team who has proved that he can head a ball, he can score with his feet for 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. Yet we don't supply him with the best of service. That move against PSV on Tuesday, Davis through to Tav back to Cholak, goal. I think a lot of it curries down to service.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Obviously, if it's a set pieces, it's the service that's getting in. But these guys they're doing it day in, day out in the training field. They must know that it's what I've noticed is there's no invention. It's the same with throw-ins as well. Our throw-ins are absolutely abysmal.
Do what Liverpool do and get a throw-in coach.
Fucking hell.
I do agree. I think for a lot of your set pieces, particularly the ones that were to be took deeper in the park and our throw-ins on Tuesday night, we were really static at times. There was really little movement. There was no spark. There was no, I'm going to drop a shoulder here and create a wee bit of room for somebody. Everybody just sort of stood and waited on the ball coming to them. And that's something that Van Bronckhorst needs to address, because you can't do that at that level. You can't do that at the SPFL either, to be perfectly honest, and to be fair to other teams in our league. If you stand still, then somebody's going to take the ball off you. It's as simple as that. So I would agree with that. I thought there was that lack of spark on Tuesday night at times, particularly in the second half. I felt
first half we were more than good. I think the second half PSV just showed their class. Anything else you want to bring up, Curry?
No, I'm trying to think of something I could slag JD halfway, but I'm struggling tonight.
His hat, his hair, his teeth.
He's looking good tonight. He's looking good. He's
always looking good.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Right, cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Take it easy.
Cheers, Curry.
See you later on.
Cheers.
Do you know, I feel a wee bit uneasy.
I'm deflated now.
I just feel a wee bit uneasy.
A wee bit positive, eh?
Yeah, let's keep it positive. Do you know what will keep it positive? Our next caller will keep it positive. Ian, how you doing?
Evening, lads, and all. How are we?
Not bad, buddy. How are you?
Good.
I'm good. Okay, so yeah, Monday maybe I was a little bit too optimistic with that scoreline. I just thought I was just optimistic coming from Saturday, thinking that we could possibly do it again. But you know what? I was in two minds for 24 hours after Tuesday. But I thought, you know what? I always go into a football match thinking, as long as you don't lose, then that's at least the least worst scenario. So the draw is the least worst scenario. So I'm confident we can go there and get something. It's just it's gonna be let's just say we're gonna have a lot of bags in our mouths just for a lot of breathing and all that. But I'm still confident we'll do it.
See, I told you, Alan. Ian will bring positivity.
Yep, absolutely. I'm the same. I'm pretty positive that we're going to go away on Tuesday and finish the tie off. I hope we do it in 90 minutes. But unfortunately, I'm going to stay positive. We're going to do it in 90 minutes. I saw enough on Tuesday night at Ibrox. I'm getting my days all mixed up. So what day did we play them? It was Tuesday night we played them, wasn't it? And it's Wednesday we play them now. I'm pretty positive that we're going to go and get a result over there. Really do. I think we'll beat them 2-1 in 90 minutes.
I know, Ian, come on. You always phone up. You're always positive. You're always keeping us happy. Come on.
Well, yeah. I just don't think. I mean, let's put it this way: we're not going to go to the Netherlands and do a Dundee United and literally fold like little kids. We will go there and put it on them. I mean, we should play like we got nothing to lose. Like, just go in there and play the best football you can. And I would like to see. I'm not going to lie. I would like to see Morelos in that match, because I was watching that match after 2-1, thinking, waiting. I was like SpongeBob sitting in the cafe, waiting for him to come on, like waiting. And it's like 85, he's still not on. Come on, why is he not coming? And I was like, right, he ain't coming on after it. The bit where it's like saying, right, he ain't coming on. It's 85 minutes, he still doesn't come on. Right, just give it up. But please play a part on Tuesday. It's made for him. That match is made for him to just nick a winner and just give it to the opposing fans. It's just like, come on, we need him.
Well, I'll tell you who else has been waiting very carefully. I can't even think of the words. Do you know what? I'm just going to bring him in. Ross Clark. How are you doing?
No way.
Ross.
We just lost 55 viewers there. I can't believe that.
He's muted, yeah. Fucking beauty.
Oh, yeah, beauty.
Can you hear him? There you go. While we're waiting to be able to hear Ross, JD, Morelos, Tuesday, definite?
Nah, not at all. He won't play Tuesday. The game's on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. I've got Alan's disease now. Wednesday.
I've said that I'd play him. Of course, I'd play him. Ian's right. Away from home, it's all set up for him. I'm not putting him on the wait list, but he is carrying a bit of weight. He is carrying a wee bit of weight, so maybe he's not ready. The fact that he never got off the bench the other night, I think means that he's maybe further away than we think. He never played for 5 months, so maybe we just want him to play. Listen, we've got what a cracking deputy and big black anyway. So I would play Morelos.
Can I just double check? Can we hear you, Ross? No, I can't hear you. Sort your audio stuff out. Come on. I think.
Here he comes. He's a gamer.
How's that sound?
Oh,
it's looking worse.
Oh, outstanding, man.
Ross, before we introduce you back, we'll introduce you once Ian's away. But on Ian's point, Morelos Wednesday, definitely?
No, absolutely not, mate.
No?
Guys, Big Jolak scored 4 in 4, mate. So you can't drap a guy that scored 4 goals in 4 games. I don't care who Morelos is.
Is it not so much, though, Ross, about the way we might have to approach it on Wednesday?
Big Jolak presses, mate. Big presses. He puts the graft in. He works hard. He does a hard side of the game. But what I like about him is if the ball comes into the middle of the box, he's there. As opposed to, I know that we love Morelos and his work rate's a different type of work rate. He'll run the channels and stuff. But in that game, when there might be one chance, I want my number 9 standing between the sticks ready to put the ball in the net rather than out wide trying to make something happen.
Oh, there you go, Ian.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, we are playing Hibs tomorrow, and they hate his guts, so that would be a better way of playing him because he always scores against them. But I mean, I'm being honest. I really want to smack them up tomorrow because they are absolutely tired this season. They were lucky against Hearts in that last minute, and they got beat by Livingston. I was laughing my head off. They fielded an ineligible player. So I really want to go and smack them up tomorrow, and that's the game for Morelos. And just also get Ryan to get Porteous sent off. There's a perfect scenario for Morelos. Come on and get Porteous sent off and score a hat trick. That's nice.
Ian, you stole my thunder.
Do you know what? I love Ian's positivity. I do. Ian, I'm afraid I'm going to have to let you go, buddy, because I've got about 6 calls waiting. But we'll discuss that now. But as ever, thank you for phoning.
You might only have 5 calls waiting, Martin, because I think I was in the line there going to phone and bam he's up.
Instead, you decided to come on and bam us up.
Exactly.
Well, what can I say? Ross, welcome back.
Thank you, mate.
Thank
you. I'm good. Good.
Ross, we've been struggling. We needed to call you back in, didn't we? Pod's been struggling.
I feel like it's a little homecoming.
It's been a snore fest, boys. I'm not going to lie.
Right,
here we are. We're back.
Ross is back and on his best behaviour. We do have another phone call. Caller ending 359. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Who's that?
It's James.
James, how you doing?
Not bad, yourselves?
Good. Not bad, mate. Not bad.
No worries. I think I first of all want to say I love the show, first time caller. I just wanted to say I joined the members all night and I put a question on about saying something to the effect of do we need a chat about Ryan Kent? Right. And now I'll sort of preface this. I was one of the guys who used to defend Kent and was like, oh, he drags players away and gives other space and all that. And see now, it's getting to the point where it's just not cutting the mustard. He does a couple of flicks for 5-10 minutes, he gets marked at the game, and then you don't see him, and it's just stacked. It's nothing. It's not good enough anymore.
Ross Clark.
It's a numbers game, Martin. It's a numbers game, and these numbers are poor. I think you know he's playing half fit. I don't think he's fully fit for the knock he picked up. But maybe having him there makes a difference with Cholak getting his goals. If he's averaging a goal a game, maybe it takes the pressure off the wingers rather than scoring goals.
Feel what we're always saying. It's just he's fit out. No, this is what I'm saying. This is just Kolak's doing his job, so all of a sudden it's thanks to Kent. Do you know what I mean? And on the show the other night, Curry made a joke, and I know it's a fan and he says Jota who, but I'm going to go there, guys. Jota is doing what he's supposed to do for Celtic. Ryan Kent, for that money, isn't doing what he's supposed to do for Rangers.
Can I jump in? By the way, I'm probably one of his hardest critics because I've said the same. I read somewhere they had 24 goal involvements last season. That's amazing.
I think it's the goals scored. I think JD that worries people.
I don't want him. He needs to provide me goals. He's saying score some goals. He scored 4 goals and he's had 20 assists. 20 assists.
I don't think he had
I would question that, JD. I don't think he had 20 assists last year at all. I would like to.
I read it somewhere.
You're right in the numbers. So I can't remember exactly how it was broken down.
24 something.
Aye, stats now they're not broken down as simple as goals and assists. You get assists to assists and fish like that. But it does make a point. And there was a guy for supporters bus said it to me, and because I was the same, I was a critic of him. He wasn't getting a lot of goals, wasn't getting a lot of assists. But there was a guy in our supporters club said to me, Kent's so important to the way we play. He might not get the assists and the goals, but he creates room, he creates opportunities for other people to get in to create a chance. And when he said it, I thought, do you know what? I can't really disagree with that. That's, he is really important to the way we play. Do I want to see him get more goals and more assists? Absolutely, of course I do, because he's our left winger. He should be. But once it was kind of put to me like that, I kind of changed my mind a wee bit. He's really important to the way we play, and I think we would notice it if Kent was at the team for a long period of time.
James, can I just ask, right, and I'll probably get shot down for this, and one of the first people to lean through the computer screen and punch me would probably be Ross Clark, right? Are we maybe over-criticising Kent just simply because of how well Jota's playing for Celtic and the numbers that Jota's given Celtic?
No, I mean, I don't like to compare like for like, if I'm being honest, right? But if you're talking about going up a level, the boy over the road, I hate to talk about them, but he is making a mark on that team. He's providing assists and goals. As I said, I was always one of the big ones that Kent provides space for other folk, and he does this and that, and he works hard and he runs back and all that. But more and more every game I'm seeing it, you get within 10-15 minutes, the defenders suss them out, and they see the USG game, and all right, they might not be fit out, but Borna Barisic gets such a hard time because Kent is standing there getting marked at the game, and after 10-15 minutes, Borna's got no option but to make a pass back. Borna's game has upped massively since Lawrence has come into the team, and he comes short looking for it on the left. He's a better player because of that. And in that USG game, Borna would actually try to make runs by Kent, and then Kent was just getting brushed off the ball, and then you could see on the telly Tav was screaming at Borna to get back, and he's actually trying to do something because Kent's just standing there. And it's happening more and more. It's happening in the Hibs game, and we can say, he's getting triple teamed or he's getting double teamed or whatever in a normal way of stuff. But that's no good enough. You know what I mean? It's like you've got to go with all this money. He's a £7 million player now. That doesn't make him a good player. He's got to up it. And assist, that's not really cutting the mustard. The boy across the road, scoring goals, he's assisting goals, he's shooting to the box. You know what I mean? We need the Ryan Kent that we play for, or else, in my opinion, he's got to take this well at the team, because running backs, all good, and I love 100% effort. I play it with myself to quite a decent level, right? And there's nothing better than all you can ask is to try your best to get 100%. But within 10 minutes, he just goes nowhere. I just don't see him in a game anymore. And yet, you could maybe point to 4 or 5 games, maybe 4 in one hand. Probably last year he was outstanding. It tended to be the big games, but we need him consistent.
Is he Ross? Is he consistent enough for Rangers, Ryan Kent?
No. And you know yourself, I'm a Ryan Kent fanboy, but over the last season, 55 season, he was absolutely outstanding. Last year there was a drop off, I think, And again, as I say, I don't know if he's fit this season, but it looks to me as if he's more, I'll hold the ball in to give Borna time to get by me, or plays it back to Borna. Now, sometimes that will work for us, but somebody commented the last 3-4 years he's been amazing for Rangers in Europe. Aye, that's great when you've got the space to run and take boys on one and whatever, but if you're playing against a Livy, or you're playing against a St Johnstone, or you're playing against a St Mirren who just want to park 10 men behind the ball, then the difference is he's got that Jota, and if that's who we're talking about, Jota's got that cut in and put a shot in the top corner. Like, when was the last time Kent done that for us in a game that we're maybe struggling to break a defence down? And I think, to be honest, that could be where Tom Lawrence comes in. I think that having watched him at Derby, I think he could be the person that will take a pot for edge of the box. But I don't know, a lot of the YouTube clips we've seen, Matondo last year played in off the left, cutting in on his right foot as well. So I don't know now if we've got Yilmaz. So I would give him his crack sooner rather than later. I think Barisic now, I kind of mentioned in the comments before you prized me on, I mentioned Barisic now plays a blinder first half and then a shiter second half, or else he plays a shiter first half and plays a blinder. You're not getting that 90 minutes consistency out of him. But the boy Yilmaz, if he wants to get forward, if we've got somebody right-footed on the left who's going to cut inside, it frees up the full wing for us to play the way we used to play with the attacking fullbacks.
Do you think, I don't think so, James, right, but I'm just putting it to you as a kind of devil's advocate question. Do you think the price tag that Kent has, Gio feels that he has to play him?
I think that he possibly does feel a pressure, especially, again, just even referring back to Yilmaz. We're talking about giving Yilmaz a crack, but I mean, Yilmaz only is a good player in paper, but I mean, he came in and he had a really ropey wee debut, and I know it's a debut and he's new and he's young and all that, but I do feel there's a pressure here that we have to play the players because how often do we talk about him and you hear, oh, he's a £7 million player? That tends to come up in the conversation about him. So I do think there is a pressure that he has to play when he's fit. But I do understand that he does have good qualities and attributes, but something's just not right with the boy now. He's just not. He's down, as I said, he tries these wee flicks, but he should be dominating against a St Mirren or a Livy. He should be taking the pressure off a Cholak, Morelos and everybody else, and it's just not happening for him now. He's just lost that wee spark. To me, anyway.
It's a fair point, but like I was going to come in there and say, do you know what? I think we need to give the boy a chance. Not give the boy a chance, but you're not taking him out of our team. We're not taking Ryan Kent out of our first 11. We can't take him out of our first 11. Whether I don't think.
Tell me his last brilliant game.
Sorry.
Tell me his last brilliant game that you could justify that comment.
What do you mean? My last brilliant game?
Sorry. You're saying when I said that question the other night, Kurt said he's the first name in the team sheet, and then you've just said you can't take Ryan Kent at the team. Tell me why. What's he gave us lately? Tell me a game where he was
I wouldn't take. Listen, I wouldn't take him out the first 11. There's no way. There's no way I'm taking him out my team, and I don't think he's playing particularly well either. But who's the replacement there? It's a big. See when Ryan Kent was at. Ryan Kent, how many games did they miss? Did they miss 1 or 2 games? Everybody was crying, we need Kent back. Back. See, I just think he needs to play. What I was going to flip on what I'm saying myself is, you're saying there's something not right. Maybe there isn't something right with him because he's not. But we're in his last year here. Is Kent seen this out now? Is it over for Kent? He could go. Gio's just said today it could be a hectic end of this transfer window. Is Kent going to go? Is that maybe Kent knows he's going to go?
I mean, that's all. Yeah, that's. Sorry, on you go, James.
I was just going to say, I mean, what were the critics like a few weeks ago? Very unfairly, I would say, on Cholak, right? Even though, in my opinion, he actually had it in it wrong because he was practically starved in his first few games, right? And now he's the best thing since sliced bread, right? Imagine we gave Matondo 12 games, 11 games. For all we know, he could be the next Ryan Kent or even better. We just don't know. But Ryan Kent, as I said, I mean, you're getting Livy defenders marking them at the game. I mean, USG, the first game, it was embarrassing. The other night, he had a good 10 minutes against that boy Teddy, and then that boy had him in his pocket.
The whole team in that first game against USG, though, that was a poor overall team performance. But I take your point. I do take your point. James, I'm going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thank you so much, by the way.
No bother, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
No, thanks.
Cheers.
As well. The support's appreciated.
I feel as if I'm on Super Scoreboard. This is class.
You, by the way.
There you go, JD. We're more handsome. You're more handsome than me, tell you, apparently.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Throw me up a beer there and shook it as she brought it up. Sure, that is.
Shall we talk about the game tomorrow?
Why we're playing tomorrow, aren't
we? Played football tomorrow. We're never in, we've not even mentioned it. Alan, Hibs away. I don't care how they're playing. I don't care if they're bottom of the league with no points after 40 games. Whenever we go there, I know it was an extreme.
What league are you watching?
It was the Championship. It's always a difficult place for Rangers to go, is it no?
Easter Road's a tough place. I've always said it, and it always will be. And you know what? They're one of these teams. I say they're one of these teams. Most teams are like us in Scotland against Rangers. They love playing against us. They want to beat us. They want to be the team that beat Rangers. They never seem to be like that with other mob or with each other. But for some reason, when they come up against Rangers, they step up to the mark and want to make it as hard as possible. It'll be a fiery game. Their fans will turn up and be loud and get in our faces, and that's exactly what we're going to expect. And we know that it's going to be a tough game. I expect to beat them. I expect to beat them comfortably. But I expect it to be a physical game as well. We mentioned Porteous earlier on. We know that he'll make 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fouls and no see a yellow card. So, we need to be prepared for that. We know that they've just brought back Martin Boyle, and you can say what you like about Martin Boyle. He knows the way to go sometimes, especially against us.
Yeah.
So these types of players are going to be really up for it. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but I would expect Rangers to go and win that game by at least 2 goals.
Ross, you know quite a lot about the other teams in Scottish football because you've seen quite a lot of them.
Yep.
Have you seen much of Hibs this season?
Nope.
Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Ross. Look, Hibs have been poor. I know they got that last minute equaliser against Hearts in the Edinburgh Derby, but they were poor because I watched that game and they were poor. But like I says to Alan, Hibs could be the worst team on the planet. Rangers come calling, and you're in for a battle for 90 minutes.
Right, well, that's the thing, but innit? You've got to be prepared to go to battle with them. And again, it comes down to getting that first. They're going to play on the counter attack. Porteous is going to dive all over the place, try and get people sent off as he does every game.
Try and get yourself sent off.
Bitch and moan. He's the dirtiest player in the league. But yeah, if you look at him the wrong way, he's down clutching his face, clutching his legs, trying to get other people sent off. So that's coming, but so you've got to just get that out the players' heads early doors. Hibs will make it a battle, and all they'll do is try and kick the ball long to Martin Boyle and hope that he can outrun whoever we are playing at centre half. And to be fair, in the was it the Scottish Cup game a couple of years ago, he scored a hat-trick in the first half, and that was all they done. But the thing with us is sometimes that's all it takes. I've made a joke earlier on in the comments about no giving legends a chance and said Michael O'Halloran. When we played St Johnstone, that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
They used to just sit in deep. We would start pushing players forward and then they'd smash the ball long, and O'Halloran was faster than your 2 centre halves. So that's exactly the way Hibs are going to play tomorrow. Surely Gio knows that's how they're going to play. They've got to soak it in, they're going to play for free kicks, and they're just going to smash it and try and get our centre halves turning. And obviously we've got the issue whereby our centre halves are no in the best of form. I think tomorrow could be a good day for Goldson to go and prove. I thought he was weak. I thought he looked really weak through the week there. When he went to challenge for the second goal and he turns his back. We need him. He's our ball winning centre half if you want. We need him going and putting his head on everything, and I think that form could turn around tomorrow if he manages to shackle Martin Boyle and get first contact. Don't get beat. If your centre half gets beat with a long ball, and they flick it on. Martin Boyle's away, and as you said earlier on, the chances are he scores.
Yeah, he does. We have another call. Call ending 244. How you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for letting me on. Now I've got a few points. Obviously, the heel midfield in the midfield. I think we're fine in the midfield at the moment. I think the two places that we could strengthen are in goals. I mean, I think McGregor is done, and just a bit too old now, and I think there would be better getting a goalkeeper to challenge McLaughlin in the goals to keep him on his toes. And I think that playing Barisic, I think Barisic has been I think he's been poor the last I'd say maybe probably about half a season. I just didn't think he's got a lot of confidence, and he's not been playing as good as what he should be playing. And I do understand why Gio's not picking up in that.
Right, well, see on your first point, there's somebody on the panel tonight who knows all about goalkeepers. Alan, Ross, McLaughlin. Do we need to get another goalkeeper in to challenge him, or is McGregor sufficient?
No, giving McGregor another year was a mistake for me. We spoke about auras earlier on. I'm obviously watching. McGregor had that aura of thou shalt not pass, right? And he had that until last year. After 55, everybody said himself he would have chucked it, but he wanted another season in front of the fans, and that aura disappeared. I don't know whether age caught up with him but mate, I think back to the Ross County game, man. See if I'd had that game playing amateur in goals, I'd get done in. But then I see people talking about Robbie McCrory, and I think to myself, Robbie McCrory couldn't hold a place in a poor Livingston team.
I've got to agree with that as well. I mean, the heel thing with McLaughlin's been well. He's done well since he's came in, but you really need a replacement for if he was to get injured you always need a replacement. I mean, we've always had good goalkeepers through all the years. I mean, like say, Andy Gorham and Stefan Klos, and even Waterus. I thought Waterus was a fantastic goalkeeper. I quite liked Waterus. And the amount of talent that we've had in the goals has been incredible. And maybe we're obviously getting a new person in. They're not going to be up to the same standards as Alan McGregor, because he's kind of a one-off. I mean, the guy's class, but obviously just too old. But I mean, whatever it is, we need a goalkeeper to kind of challenge there. Because I mean, McGregor, it's all right playing against teams like Queen of the South and kind of weird teams that you're expecting really to sit there and give them a feast. But I mean, Barisic. What's your thoughts on Barisic? Because I think Barisic has been rank rotten.
JD.
I'm not a fan, obviously. I don't think he's got the. I can't really buy into the whole. He's a confidence player. If you play with Glasgow Rangers, there's a standard expected that you can come in and play. And we've seen good players come in, great players come in, and not be able to do it. Now, the season we won the league, he was brilliant. But last season he took a few dips, had a few horrendous games. I don't think he ever recovered. Now, I don't think he would be playing if Yilmaz was ready to go. But listen, these boys can be superstars. The Scottish game's a different game to adapt to. I think Barisic, and I'm saying this and I don't like him, has been playing decent. I wouldn't say he's been playing amazingly, but he's been playing good enough for me to hold his spot, actually. But I think another 3, 4, 5 games,
he looked like he just looked like a lost boy. Again, he just didn't.
He does a lot. I think he does.
He didn't look. For me, anyway. I mean, that's obviously just the one game against PSV. He just didn't look. I reckon the proper the right word to say. He wasn't at the races. I mean, as well as that, as well as criticising players, because I don't want to sit there and fucking slate every single player, but I mean, the likes of Sands, he's came on the last couple of games, he's been all right, and the likes of Kolak, it's interesting with Kolak, because then the whole thing with Morelos, that's going to be interesting on places for Morelos, because Kolak's been playing bloody out of his skin.
I think it's just good that we've got options.
And for the first time in ages, our bench looks bloody brilliant, Ken. I mean, how strong does the bench look at the present?
It looks very strong, apart from defensively for me. I think defensively, because Davies is still out injured. We've only got young Leon King on the bench as a centre back to come on. We've got Sands playing at centre back and stuff like that. So once we get a few of the defensive players back from injury, I mean, if you're playing Goldson and Hollander, and you've got Davies and who am I forgetting? Suter. Davies and Suter on the bench. No, that's a strong defensive bench. But yeah.
I was actually quite disappointed. Obviously, you're going on forums and different things, and you're seeing folks' opinions. But we had only played one. We were only one game into the season, and Shooter made a mistake. And the amount of criticism, that the guy got for one game that he made a wee mistake. I mean, I think that's a bit bloody terrible, because I mean, to only play one game for us, and obviously we can all make mistakes, but then it wasn't just his mistake too. I mean, it was the heel defence. I mean, I think it was it Barisic that should have been tighter to the bloody man, and obviously the goal that was gave away was pretty poor. But then you've got to say McLaughlin was too far off his bloody line as well. It's not just one man, and that for me, it's kind of annoying that they kind of singled them out, and it's one of these things. I mean, that's the worst about social media, though.
Oh, social media's horrible. Caller, I never get your name, by the way. I like to always get the callers' names.
Oh, sorry, it's Gary. I actually watch your podcast every bloody week. Actually, I love your podcast. I get chat in the thing on YouTube as well. So it's bloody good.
And that accent, that detect a northernly accent.
It's from Edinburgh.
Oh, right. I thought you were full of northern.
But I think my problem. I think the accent. I've stayed in Edinburgh all my life, but then I used to go through the football all the time, and I used to go to Glasgow, so I was kind of back and forward. I think it's knackered my accent.
Gary,
that's good. That's good, isn't it? Go from Edinburgh to Glasgow and sounds as if you're from Aberdeen. That's class. That's absolute class.
Do you ken the amount of people that's actually sat there and say they think that I'm from Aberdeen, Dundee,
Hamilton.
That's enough. Gary, excellent call. Thanks very much, and make sure you call in again.
Aye, listen, thank you very much, boys. Cheers.
Gary.
Can I get a wee shot to finish my point, Martin, before Gary so rudely interrupted me? My point is, John McLaughlin, for me, has done absolutely nothing wrong, but he's not got that aura. Nobody sees him as good enough to be a Rangers number one goalie.
No need time to build that aura.
This is what I'm saying, mate. We're not giving him the time to... People just see him as a second choice goalie. Now, when he was down in Sunderland, he done well. He done well at Hearts, but he's no that big name. Like, I know I used to kid on all the time about Xander, but Xander would get the same treatment. If Xander came to Rangers, it would be the same. A Scottish boy, no good enough. So I would like to see us investing in a young goalkeeper with a decent pedigree that can do all three. We're talking about McLaughlin can come for crosses and command his area. He can play with the ball at his feet, and McGregor's the better shot stopper. There's got to be No, mate, I said to you earlier on, I was playing golf today with a boy who would be comfortably Rangers' second choice.
Right,
comfortably.
I'm going to ask you about that a wee bit later on, but we have another caller on the phone. Ian, how are you doing?
Oh, you recognise my number, right, Martin? How you doing?
Not bad, buddy.
Yeah, it was just about the Hibs game and what happened midweek as well. And I'm listening to what everybody's saying. We've really realised goalkeepers, when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's headlines. Look at the goal that Lawrence scored through the week. That goalkeeper must still be in his bed in a dark room. And same with centre half. The centre half makes a mistake that he's through one-on-one with a goalie. I remember one time it was a referee said to I heard about the referee that said somebody's moaning about the referee the mistakes he's made, and he turned around to the player and said, if you made as few mistakes as I did, you'd win 6-0 every week. And it's true. I mean, many times we see strikers missing this, we see somebody missing a ball through and all the rest of it. But anyway, that was just what was picking up from previous conversations. The goalie, I think McLaughlin's a decent enough keeper. We might need to get down the road to get somebody else. But at the moment, what we need more than anything is somebody that can put a pass through to break down these 2 walls of 5 that we're playing against every week in Scotland. We need somebody with a bit of guile, somebody with a bit of nous. How do we break down these 2 5-man walls? And that's what we're going to get every week. I mean, somebody was saying about Porty. I said that Porty should be kept in Edinburgh Zoo. He is an absolute fucking animal. He shouldn't be allowed to put football boots on in any way, shape or form. He is useless, and he's just a bully. He's just vicious. He's a horrible, horrible bastard that I hate with every fibre of my being. I wouldn't let him out the Terence Higgins arena. I would keep him in there.
Ian, don't you sit in that fence, you get off it and you say exactly what you've got in your mind.
I don't want to get skilled in my arse, that's for sure.
Well, Ian, I've seen links today to a boy that I know absolutely nothing about. Is it Evander from Midtjylland? I've seen those links. So do you think Gio is looking for that kind of player?
I think we need to. I really do. I mean, Hanji, we're missing Hanji more than a lot of people realise. And when Hanji comes back, that's going to be a new player we're getting. And I heard somebody talk about Suter. How do we ever sign Suter? I'll never know. I'm 70-year-old. I was fit as Suter. I played me against him in the season in Suter role. That was an absolute waste of money. We got him for nothing. He's worth nothing. That's why we got him for fucking nothing.
Have we not brought in Tillman and Lawrence to make those killer passes to split teams into? I know exactly why they're. I was actually really surprised when I seen we were linked with Evander. Not that I know that much about him, but I knew he was an attacking midfielder. Because we have got, yes, he's injured just now. We've got Hadji. We've also got Alec Lowry sitting there as well, who's working on his fitness as well, who deserves that fight, that chance. I don't think Evander's going to be any better than the 4 I've just mentioned.
And he's going to cost upwards of, $6 million?
So I was really, really surprised when I heard that name getting mentioned, because we've got 4 players here, once they're all fit, that are capable of it. We know Hadji can blow hot or cold. Alec Lowry's, still developing, still learning. And Tillman and Lawrence have been brought in to do that job. So I'd be really surprised if we signed Evander. And I'll also be really disappointed if one of the 4 of the players can't do that job, find those passes to split defences open, because we were missing that.
Young Romanian guy as well for the same sort of position. Now, that's been mentioned a couple of times, but I don't see it. I really don't see it. I hear what you're saying about Alec Lowry. We would need to be careful we don't burn Alec Lowry out. And you've got to be a physical specimen playing in Scotland. I heard you speak to somebody earlier. So have you seen much of Hibs? The only time I see Hibs 4 times a season. I see every other team in Scotland 4 times a season when they play Rangers. Maybe 5 if they get in the cup. I get no interest in the rest of them. Absolutely no interest whatsoever. They hang on to the coattails of Rangers. We've seen it for 10 years. Back in the Troubles, they wanted Rangers to get to the Championship and take all our money off us, and then let us get back in just so they could suck on that blue tit all the time, just take the blue pound. What we did, we went down through we come up through the leagues, and every team that we played got a good payday off us. And every town that we went to get a good payday, every chip shop we sell out, every paper shop we sell out, every pub we sell out, we put money right through the whole of Scotland. What thanks did we get? Absolutely none. Every one of them still wants to put the boot in us. And I don't watch them. I'd rather watch English. I'd rather watch the Bundesliga, something like that. Watch a bit of decent football. I don't want to see hammer throws, 22 hammer throws playing against one another.
Ross, I can see you were looking to come in there on the first point.
What was it again?
I can't remember, but you were shaking. You were shaking your head at Alan. Something Alan was saying.
Shock. What were you
Could
saying,
have
Alan?
been anything. I can't remember. It was a while ago. It was about the 4 attacking midfielders. The 4 that we've got.
Sorry, that's what it was. That was the point.
Matt, I've got a major issue with the. I was looking at the comments, mate. It wasn't you. I was shaking my head at the. See, when we're playing against jobbers in the league, why are we playing with 2 sitting mids? Why are we not just having your 4 defenders, Lundstrom sitting, Kent one side, Matondo the other side, Tillman and your man Lawrence in the middle, and at the moment Cholak up front? Why are we playing with a Kamara or a Jack beside Lundstrom? Because Lawrence has already proved he can do the dirty side of the game as well. He'll come back, he'll work box to box.
Yes, he's well.
I don't understand why. And again, talking about the younger guys as well, like Leon King hasn't put a foot wrong when he's come into a Rangers team, so why are we no giving him a chance? Why is he no? Oh, he's no physically big enough, and there's boys that are smaller than him and less mature than him and younger than him who are playing on the continent week in, week out, first choice picks. I don't see why at Rangers we don't give. Alex Lowry's another one. He's played like 3 games, get 3 assists and 2 goals or something. Like, how is he no good enough? Why we? I don't. We've got a thing as a support where, for one, we're very impatient. We're very impatient and we're very quick to point fingers. But see, for me, there are 2 young boys this season who should be making the step up and playing 25 games this season. And then the next year you're looking at the boy Charlie McCann maybe coming through as well, who seems to be a cracker. You've got the boy Tony Weston, who scored a barrel load last. Why are we no looking to bring these kind of players through?
Tony Weston's obviously on one at Partick Thistle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So next season, I'm talking about you're going to try and bed 2 in this year with Leon King and Alex Lowry. Then the next year, you've got another 2 that can come in and play 15, 20 games. I don't know, JD. I've only seen the boys' goal stats. I can see there you're looking when I say Weston, but I've only seen the boys' goal stats. He seems to score. He knows where the net is.
Ian, your thoughts just on what Ross is saying there about the kind of young players coming through? Because you did say about Lowry, look, we need to be careful. What's your thoughts on how well we bring through young players and how quickly should we bring them through?
Right, well, if you look at the Dutch record of bringing youth through, it's very good. But one of your colleagues on the panel there said, on the continent they play football. They come over to Scotland, they think it's rollerball we're playing. They haven't got a clue what Scottish football's like. So the best thing for me is the B team playing in the Southern League. They're playing against men. We're playing against men that are playing for bonuses, so they're getting stuck in. So it's toughening them up a bit. But they really got to realise just how things. Now you're talking about youth. The youth player that's got me the most exciting. I catch as much as I can on YouTube and I read what I can. That's Zach Lovelace. Oh, he looks as though he's going to be the business. And I mean, the size of him, he's a big lad as well. The same as Tillman. Tillman's got the physique of a man, but I don't know whether it's fitness. I've worked with Tillman. He seems to sort of turn into an empty jersey at half time.
See if Lionel Messi came through the youth ranks at Auchenhowie, we would have sold him to League One for fucking buttons after a couple of years, because he wouldn't have got a kick. He wouldn't have got a kick. He wouldn't have got a kick for us. And see that, I know what you're saying, caller, about I feel as if I'm on Super Scoreboard calling folk caller and shit, man. No, see what you're talking about there. See if we are, and JD would definitely be Hugh Evans, but anyway, we've got you're looking at saying we are all the type of teams, blah blah blah. So why can we no play a centre half when we're playing against jobbers? Why can we no play Leon King rather than Sands and develop our own player? Leon King you'll probably find's bigger in stature and height than James Sands. I don't think James Sands is that big, is he? So we at the moment we are playing a boy who's going to cost us, is it 5 million at the end of the season if we want to keep him?
Yeah.
So we're developing a boy in that position rather than giving one of our own boys a chance in his natural position, who we could then sell next season if he has a good couple of games, much like your Bassies and Pattersons. We're not giving him a chance. We're shoehorning somebody else in. So see if Leon King's not good enough, why is he on the bench? Why is he part of the squad? Because what we've done is the first game we played Sands on one side and Lundstrom the other side of a back three, so that he didn't need to play. We're now playing Sands in there every time we play a 4. So for me, why not give a boy Leon King his chance?
Ian, we could have this conversation for about another 6 hours, right? But you did say when you phoned that you wanted to touch on the game tomorrow as well. So if we don't do that, then now we're going to be here to midnight, right? So what's your thoughts about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I would start with Alfie, and I'd give 60 minutes, and I'd bring Colak on for the last 30 minutes. The reason being, I want to see Morelos start away from home. As I said to you when I phoned in the last time, I think we need to start Alfie, maybe give him the first hour, and bring Colak on in case it goes to extra time, because Alfie wouldn't have the legs for it. Right. So I would start Alfie tomorrow.
Right, can we just take that point first, and then we'll come to the rest, because I can see a few crumpled up faces on the panel here. So I want to take that point because I'll forget it, Ian. I've got a terrible memory. JD, Alfie to start tomorrow. We have said, obviously, I think most of us have agreed that, you keep Colak because he's scoring, but does Ian have a point? Get some minutes in the legs for Alfie? Or, is it a difficult game, so start Colak? I don't know.
Neither do I. It's a conundrum because Morelos needs to get minutes eventually. But then you've got the other thing where you're saying, well, don't drop a boy who's scoring 4 and 4 and he's just scoring. So just Colak just play, and if he keeps scoring, and then Morelos will need to bide his time. Perhaps that's what needs to happen. But I think if Morelos starts tomorrow, then Colak starts on Wednesday. Or I don't think Morelos will start either, to be honest.
I think Colak starts on both.
Yes.
Colak starts on both. Morelos comes off the bench, but eventually Morelos will be the first choice striker.
Yeah.
But we need that little bit of consistency up front just now, especially since Colak's not done anything wrong. Scored 4 and 4. It should have been 5 and 5.
Any criticism whatsoever about Colak. I think I've sung Colak's praises through the week, and I was right. Get him service in the penalty area, get him service in the 6-yard box. That guy will score. But Morelos terrifies defences. He's got a physical defence tomorrow with Hibs. But Morelos terrifies him. The centre halves bounce off Morelos. Morelos will terrify them in the Phillips Stadium on Tuesday night as well. So I would like to see him get an hour, get 45 minutes and get a first half with him. We need to get legs into his minutes. We need to get him sort of running full speed to get him into the PSV game.
But on that, I mean, Gio had an opportunity, I suppose, to put him on for the last 25-30 minutes against PSV, and he never.
He didn't, no, and he said, why should he? Because Antonio's playing well, and I take it from him. But he's a wily fox as well, Gio's quite a wily fox, so I don't know. Put it this way, I think Gio knows more about football than the 4 of you on the panel and me sitting here, and every listener you've got as well. Gio's football knowledge sort of dwarfs ours. So, and Gio we trust.
That's what I think. We perhaps want Morelos. Morelos might be on the bench to get him a wee bit of minutes here and there. If he was out for 5 months, 6 months, he might be maybe near ready to start, let's be honest.
JD, have you got him on Instagram? Have you got Morelos on Instagram? He's in fucking Pure Gym or something with birds behind him on the phone. He's nowhere near ready, by the way. Yeah. He's absolutely not. He's still doing explosive exercises. He's one knee slide away from turning his thigh wide open again. He must be get his thigh reattached to the bone.
Do you know what? There was talk that it was going to be September before
so this is what I'm talking about. But see, for me, see the boy Colak, he scored. As I say, he scored 4 and 4. He came off the other night and done an interview on his way off the park after running and chasing and harrying for 90 minutes, and he looked as if he could have had a shot of his missus up the stand and then went back on for another game. Mm-hmm. That's what he looked like. He looks super fit. He looks absolutely super fit, as if he could play. If it goes to extra time next on Wednesday night, I'm convinced he could play the 120 minutes.
Do you know what I was thinking, Ross? Right, and genuinely before this goes out of my head, as I seen Ian phoning, I thought there's only 2 people who could get the Rabble banned, and it's Ross and Ian, and now they're both on. Ian, Rangers on Tour is saying, look, obviously the most important thing tomorrow is 3 points. So before I let you go, how do Rangers go about getting 3 points? How does Gio set up tactically, and what will the scores be for you?
I think we'll win 3-0, 3-1 tomorrow, and we've got to. We've got to get down the wings at them, but you need something to go through the middle. Lawrence, to me, has been a real buy. It really has. Tillman seems to be the sparkle. But Lawrence is a real player. He can do a bit of everything. Him and Lundstrom started really have got us ticking. So we've just got to go at them. We've got to bite ball up here. Go at them. Go for the throats.
I absolutely love when you buy somebody for free. It's good. It's class. We got them for free, didn't we? That's what I'm saying. It's what a bit of business. What a bit of business.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I mean, Rooney, there was no way Rooney was going to have Lawrence as his captain if he didn't sort of think he was some player, because they were fighting for their lives.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Ian.
Anyway, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking to you again, and I'll try and phone in the next time you're on as well. So have a good weekend, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Ian.
Cheers, you too.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Bye.
I tell you, the phones have been off the hook. JD,
hey, listen, you bring back the big guns, Martin. You bring back the big guns and shit happens, mate. Know what I mean?
Well, what I'm going to do, we've amazingly got still 250 people watching, and we've been on for an hour and a half, is I'm going to tell you a wee tiny bit about our sponsors, Zenith Coins. ZenithCoins.com, if you use the code RR10, which is really difficult for me to say, you get 10% off selected items on their website. Absolutely brilliant. They support us. So if you fancy it and you go there, then you're helping to support us as well. So yeah, thank you. Check out ZenithCoins.com. There is another phone call coming in, and it's channel member Ian Ross. Ian, how are you?
I'm very good, Martin. Thank you.
What would you like to talk about? Still there?
I am still here, Martin.
Sorry,
I'm still here, pal.
What would you like to talk about?
I just want to talk about the criticism that everybody's been giving the Rangers players tonight.
Have you got the show on in the background, Ian?
I've just switched it off, Martin.
Oh, good man. Sorry. Say that again, because I couldn't focus because I could hear the show in the background.
You're all right, Martin. I just wanted to talk about the criticism that some of the players have been getting tonight, Martin, that's all.
All right, what players?
Barisic, McLaughlin, Goldson. You know that.
I agree. It's been quite negative. It's been draining. Mm-hmm. It's been a negative one tonight, I think.
I think because
I personally think that people are too quick to jump on the criticism bandwagon. And I believe that we've improved exponentially in every game that we've played this season, from Livingston to St Johnstone.
Do you know, Ian, I'll be brutally honest with you. See, I thought Barisic played well against PSV. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I thought he had a decent game.
No, I did as well. That's what I'm saying. But everybody seems to be, jumping on his back. I mean, I watched the guy. Now, in certain parts of that game, right, I agree with everybody. He was stopping at the halfway line and he wasn't going any further. He wasn't going any further because there's not a pass to make. I mean, if you're going to be critical about a player, you've got to analyse the game properly.
Ian, can I?
You don't just watch the game and then get mad about the result and then criticise all the players after that. You've got to wait until the cold light of day. Look at the game again and see where the problems are. Goldson as well. I agree with you. I agree with you. Goldson was at fault for one of the goals. He was. He should have turned and put his foot out in that shot. He wouldn't have got that shot away. If he was game savvy and he turned around and put his foot out, he wouldn't have got that shot away.
See, there you're being critical, Ian.
Yeah, but that's the only criticism I have. I'm saying you can't criticise the guy for one mistake in 2 years, or one mistake in 10 games. You know,
why
is everybody so keen to criticise?
I know.
You should be happy with where they are.
Listen, I 100% agree that I didn't expect there to be as many negative comments tonight as there has been. But when you do a phone in, you can only deal with who comes on. But Ross, you wanted to come in there, and then Alan, you can come in after Ross.
I know, mate, I'm getting old, but I forgot what I was coming in at again.
The criticism of Borna.
I see for Borna, right, you can tell me as much as you want that he's not getting ahead of him. See if you switch to the other wing, see if you see Tav, he'll take a man on if there's no a pass, whip a ball in. Listen, Barisic got an assist against USG with an absolute shiter floated ball that Tillman managed to rise with rocket boots on and head in. See if Tillman doesn't jump as high as he does, everybody's gone like that. What Barisic has just hoped that into nobody. I think that's the difference. I think when you've got somebody on the right hand side who's willing to take a man on and get across, it shows. Late on in the game, Tav is still up and down that wing. I don't know if Borna tires. I don't know. Ian, I know what you're saying as well, but I think that I don't think MD in here's saying the players are shite and this is that, but people are just making. I don't think it's been.
I'm not talking about the panel. I'm talking about the people that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, mate. I think that the callers who have called in are more talking in general about specific parts in games. I don't think MD's saying that the players are no good enough. I think that it's just a case of we've got. Let's be honest. We've spent $4 million on Yilmaz. Folk are going to want him in the team, especially when we all watch the obligatory YouTube channel, the compilation of him getting forward and taking guys on and scoring goals and creating goals, and I see that on the right hand side. I see Tav taking people on, I see Tav having a pop at goal, I see Tav putting crosses in for, he can hit the byline or he can play across, he'll play a cross in for 40 yards out on the right. I don't see that with Barisic. I think Barisic takes the easy option too much, and I think that's where it gets shown up more, because on the other side of the park you've got a guy who always wants to attack.
A guy who can do the job. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I'm not. Barisic isn't the best, and I know that. Everybody knows that Barisic isn't the best, you know, and there's better to come. But if he's in the team, you know. Give him a bit of support, you know what I mean? That's half the problem. He reads all that criticism in the press, and he sees all the comments on Twitter. I mean, you know, that can, as you guys know, that can be a bit soul destroying, you know.
It can be soul destroying, Alan. But as a professional footballer, is it? I'm not talking about the excessive criticism, but as a professional footballer, you have to be able to deal with criticism. And I'm talking to Alan, seeing Ross on the phone. I get mixed up with Ian's and Alan's. There's that many Ian's and Alan's at phone in, but Alan.
Yeah, I think you need to be able to switch off to the noise a lot, especially on social media. It's maybe a bit harder in the mainstream media, especially if fellow professionals are having a go at you. But when you get dafties like us and social media having a go at professionals, then they switch off to it. I think the reason that we've probably been so negative tonight and since the start of the season is, look, we're Glasgow Rangers. We expect our team to beat everybody 4-0. And when we don't do it, when we don't hit the ground running, we like to pick things apart and wonder why. When we concede goals, we like to pick things apart and wonder why, because we don't expect that. We don't, you know, we demand the very best. You know, scraping by against 2-1 against Livingston, although we know it's a hard game, isn't good enough. You know, losing 2-0 away from home for a pretty much unknown Belgian team in Europe isn't good enough. We're now at a position where we just drew 2 each with PSV Eindhoven, and it's no good enough. That's how far we've came. That's how far we've came. But we will pick it apart, and nobody's saying the players aren't good enough or they're not good enough to be in the Rangers jersey. But we are picking up the faults that they have. We spoke about Barisic there. Barisic when he blows hot and cold. I think somebody said that earlier on in the night as well. He seems to have 60 minutes where he's quite a decent player, and 30 minutes he disappears. He seems to be able to find space in the box for somebody. I think there's two different players there. Barisic will find space, and other times he'll knock it to the goalkeeper. Tavernier's probably more. He's able to pick out a player. You know, but when Barisic does put those balls in the box and they just float through to the other side, or the keeper comes out and collects it, he gets criticised on it because we expect he should be putting those balls in the box, and somebody should be getting on the end of them every single time and making the keeper work for the save or scoring the goal. That's just where we are as a club right now. And until we start beating teams 3, 4, 5-0 every week, we will pick people apart for the mistakes that they make, whether it be the goalkeeper, the left back, centre back, Ryan Kent.
At this particular moment in time, actually, as a club, are we happy about where we are in the world of football?
JD,
considering where we came from.
Are you happy where Rangers are right now?
100%. I think we need to take where we've came from. I get it. And we need to just get rid of that now. We are what we are. So where we are right now, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy because I'm not happy domestically because we should be the best team in Scotland. We are the best team in Scotland. We should be the reigning champions right now, but we aren't. I'm not happy about that. I get where some folk are still not happy with the performances this season, and that's because they just, like Alan's saying, we expect everything. But it's for me. It's still too early. Look at last season. Last season proved that you can have a slow start and still win the league.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier, with every league game we've improved. 2-1 against Luddy, 2-0 against Kilmarnock, and 4-0 against St Johnstone. Against St Johnstone, we played some of the best football of the season, really. And then we go and we play PSV, and we got a credible, not the best result, but a credible 2-2 draw. I'll give you a comparison, right? Nottingham Forest, who 2.5, 3 years ago were floundering at the bottom of the Championship, spent 143 million this year. 143 million. That's 6 years' money to Rangers, and they spent it at the start of a season.
No,
that's the reality of the situation that we are in.
I know, but you're comparing apples and pears, aren't you?
No, I take the point, what Ian's saying, but obviously they play in a league now where, that's a couple of years parachute payment if you get relegated, isn't it? It's so I can understand what you mean from a European wise.
But we have to understand exactly where we are in football.
Forest can spend 140 million if they want. We play them tomorrow. I expect us to beat them, and I think we would beat them nae bother. And they can spend 140 if they want. So you can't buy
110%, JD. I agree with that.
Are they still playing Joe Worrell and fucking him for Aberdeen at the back? So that's what 140. That's your £140 million team. Then the two of them would get a game for our B team.
Exactly. But that's, I wasn't exactly talking about the type of team they were. I'm just talking about the type of money.
That's the kind of money that's down there. That's the kind of money that's available to these teams, and that's the difference with us. These kind of teams are trying to sign players like Tom Lawrence, and they're trying to throw money at other players who are Joe Aribo, who have come to us because we've got the stature and the history and everything else that comes with being a Rangers player. Like, they can throw money at people who are below average because they've got that expendable income. Whereas with us, it's about getting bargain players who want to come and be part of what Rangers offers more than.
Well,
take Yilmaz for example, right? We paid what, £4 million for him, I think it was.
434 million?
How much? Listen, might have done 3 or 4 million for him. Because we're Rangers Football Club at the SPFL, and the team that we're negotiating with will negotiate with us based on what A, they want, and B, they think we can afford. See if Nottingham Forest of the English Premier League come in for him, you can put another £10 million onto that straight away, because that team will think, English Premier League money, we can make something off of this. That's the inflation of the English Premier League. And as JD says, and you said as well, we play the vast majority of English Premier League teams tomorrow, with possibly the exception of the top 6. I'd expect us to beat them.
Top 6, Alan, yeah.
Ian, fantastic call. Thank you very much.
Can I just say a quick hello to Ross? I'm really glad to see you back here, Ross. And I hope you do get back to doing your other brother podcast, because I used to watch them all the time, and they gave me a great deal of calmness about my life.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. I had a couple of late call-offs that left me in the lurch, and there's only so many times I can tell you how much of a crackpot I am. Do you know what I mean? So, baby steps. I had to go away and look after my own mental health and get myself sorted. So this is a big step because JD bullies me. So this is a big step coming back here.
That is shocking.
It's great to see you here and all the rest of the guys as well. It's been I love this podcast, and I really hope that we can all go far together. With a lot of support and
well said,
understanding.
Absolutely. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thanks, Ian.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. That support Ian was talking about, of course, is if you fancy, if you're in a position to become a member, you can click the join button below, or the link is in the description, because sometimes the join button doesn't show up. Please do like and subscribe as well. Turn on your notifications so it tells you when we're going to go live. Stuff like that. Just help support the pod in any way you can. Kitbag UK is one of our sponsors as well, and they have started selling the new Rangers Away kit. Now, I checked, and I know that Steve84 lads checked as well. Rangers still receive the same amount of money as if you buy it direct. So it's not like we're promoting you paying for tops from a different seller and Rangers don't get the same amount of money. And of course, the money that we get in goes back into Rangers as well. So Rangers get all the money.
So what you're saying is Mike Ashley doesn't own Kitbag?
Mike Ashley does not own Kitbag.
Let's clear that up.
I only came back because I heard you were sponsored by Manscaped. That's like 6 months I've been away. I'm starting to look like a gorilla, mate. I need a Manscaped set.
That was about 2 years ago. If you use the link in the description for Kitbag UK, if you click on it and you see at the top, they're always giving you daily deals. Sometimes it's 20% off, sometimes it's 25%, sometimes it's free shipping. So if you use that link, it helps you to support the podcast as well. We'll finish up shortly, gentlemen, because I think this is coming up in one of the longest shows we've done, nearly 2 hours. And Alan looks as if he's ready to cry. So, you all right, Al?
Not as much as the callers.
No, I'm brand new.
Brand new, good. Right, okay, so we'll finish up on the Hibs game. We've kind of discussed Hibs without discussing Rangers. I know some of the callers have. Also, 100% confident we'll go there tomorrow and do them.
Yeah, I like to think we're going to win by at least 2 goals, maybe 3. They're not a good side, but I know we spoke about how difficult they can be. We know exactly how they're going to set up. We need to be switched onto that. Their centre backs need to be switched onto that counter attack. But we'll have the majority of the possession. We'll have the majority of the opportunities. Tav and Barisic will put the ball into the box. Whether or not it's good enough will remain to be seen, as we've spoke about. But guys like Cholak and Lawrence and Tillman, if they can get into the box and get onto the end of these balls, flick it onto each other, to get the deflections when it does come off the keeper or a defender, we can absolutely pummel a team like Hibs at times. We'll take into account that it's at Easter Road, so I'll stick with 3-0.
JD, I suppose actually, and I'm not going to talk about it, but trust me, I don't want to worry you. The game on Tuesday, will that play a part in his selection? I think it's still too early in the season to be thinking about resting him, only giving him X amount of minutes.
I think it will. The game on Wednesday, Martin. Wednesday. Of course. Yeah. It's all right. I'm here to keep you right. I think it will. I think we might see a few folk maybe get a wee rest or get less minutes, or certainly see him use the full quota or nearly the full quota of subs that we're allowed to use, which he doesn't do often. Mm-hmm. So I think we will maybe mix it up a bit. He's not a big one for mixing it up, to be honest. He likes to keep his team pretty steady, but
although he did last week.
True. So I think he probably will use players and give folk a bit of rest. I think if Cholak starts and Cholak comes off, Cholak will be starting on Wednesday as well. We're not going to start Cholak, bring him off after 70, 60, and then no start him on Wednesday. And I think that's probably the big one. I think Cholak will start.
Ross?
I think
I can't get bothered asking the same question again.
I think at this stage of the season, mate, points are valuable in the league. Am I right in saying we're away at Parkhead in our next league game after this?
We're at home at Ross County in between.
Home to Ross County first. So their next 3 away games anyway are harder game. 3 out of the next 4. You've caught me off guard, Martin. I've not done my research, mate. I was just thought I was going to bone here the night, bamming folk up on the text and stuff. But no, I think points, getting after a good start in the league is essential. I think he'll play his strongest team. I think that'll include Barisic. I think it'll probably include Sands. I think it'll include Lawrence in beside Lundstrom. I think it'll be Tillman, Kent, and it's got to be Matondo. It's got to be. If Scott Wright plays, I will honestly cry. Mate,
Gio seems to trust Wright.
Yeah.
Mate, people say to me that Sakala can't play out on the right because he doesn't hold the ball up or off yet. Mate, Scott Wright gives the ball away more than anybody else in our team. And I like the wee guy, but I like him as your third choice. He's behind Matondo. He's behind Matondo and he's behind Sakala on the right for me. Actually, I would actually say if you're using your right as an inside forward, I would actually rather play Morelos out there to try and get him the minutes in his legs than play Scott Wright again. I'm not joking. If we get a 2-goal lead, getting up to 60 minutes, I think he'll swap it about. Maybe give Yilmaz some time. Potentially give Morelos 30 minutes. I think he'll look to give him 30 minutes in case he's required through the week. But I just don't see us gone 4 or 5 changes for our best 11 at this stage of the season, mate. It's because you don't want to lose ground early doors. And I don't think the game on Wednesday's unwinnable either. I don't think it. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't think it's a game where we need it.
So there's plenty of break.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. I don't think it's a game where we need to rest everybody so that we're early in the season. They've just come off the back of a pre-season. Surely, to God, they're as fit as they'll ever be.
And Ross, I'll come to his off predictions in a wee second, but can you see anything other than a Rangers win? The Hibs worry you at all?
Aye.
Do they?
I need to be honest, Martin.
Martin,
the lack of dominance in both our centre halves worries me for the long ball over the top to Martin Boyle to run onto, because he's a really good finisher. If our 2 centre halves show up, we win the game. But if we do this, letting the ball bounce and no going and attacking it, Boyle's. If you give Boyle 3 chances, there's every chance he walks off with 2 goals minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And that, our centre halves are giving me the heebies a wee bit, the same as the boys have spoke about. All great players in their own right, but just no got that connection yet, because it's been Goldson and Sands, Goldson and Davies, Golden. So we've not got that continuity yet. The rest of the team are now starting to gel. So that's my thoughts.
I'm not going to ask for the team lineup because we have seen with Gio that it is almost impossible. But JD, you've been yawning a lot tonight, so I'll let you just sit there and wake up while I go to Alan. Midfield battles obviously are crucial. What kind of midfield do you see him setting up with? Because I don't see Davis starting this one. Do you see it being a 2.5 defensive midfield? Is it a Jack Lundstrom Kamara, Jack Lundstrom Lawrence? What's he going to do tomorrow?
I think we're all shaking heads. I don't want it to be. I think, as we spoke about earlier, I want to see Lundstrom, Tillman and Lawrence being the one, as I said earlier on, Lawrence has to be the one that's going to have to track back.
Box to box.
And help Lundstrom out and be that box-to-box player. But I think he's going to go with 2 holding because we're away to Hibs.
Yeah.
I don't know who they'll be. Lundstrom and possibly Kamara. We'll see Tillman in the number 10 role, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Lawrence out the right wing again.
Would you be shocked, Alan? Would you be shocked if it was Lundstrom, Jack, Kamara?
Yes. Because then how do you then fit in Tillman and Lawrence? You could play one of them out in the right wing, although I don't think you should, because neither of them are right wingers. We've got a right winger sitting there. We spoke about that. But I think both of them will play. And if you play Lundstrom, Jack, Kamara, one of them is not on the team.
Do you know?
Probably Lawrence.
Do you know what I like about Lawrence? He's shown that, as I said earlier on, he's into doing the dirty side of the game. He'll track back, but he's got that, the same as Lundstrom, he's got that nasty bastard streak about him, whereby he'll break play up, he'll do the wee dirty fouls that go...
presses well as well.
Exactly. He'll go and press people, he'll put a shoulder in, he'll give away fouls that are no quite a booking, so he doesn't leave himself on a tightrope. Personally, I would play him in beside Lundstrom, but tell him you're no sitting with Lundstrom, you're box to box. Get forward, find your wee niche on the edge of the box where you can pop shots away and play the passes we need. But when they get us turning, you're getting your arse back to sit in beside Lundstrom and become a 2 in there. I think he's got the fitness to do that and the ability, Martin. That's what I'm thinking.
I get that, but one of the reasons, JD, and that I think he'll obviously play the 2 defensive midfielders is because, well, he always does. But you're probably going to have Sands at centre back again as well. So is Gio not looking at that and going, well, I've got a midfielder in defence, so my defence is going to need more support there for 2 defensive mids.
I probably think so. I think we need to remember Ryan Jack's a fucking exceptional football player. Ryan Jack's a brilliant football player. I think we all have lost a wee bit of confidence and a wee bit of can't be asked with Ryan Jack anymore because he just cannot stay fit. But at points last season, Jack and Lundstrom had some partnership. So I would not be bothered with that. I mean, I'm a massive Glenn Kamara fan. We spoke about it the other night. It's time for Glenn Kamara, I think, to move on. It's time for everybody just to move on with that kind of thing. But if he played Lundstrom and Jack, I wouldn't be fussed with that. If he played Lundstrom and Davis, I wouldn't be fussed with that. Lundstrom and Kamara, I would be, because it depends, because John Lundstrom probably would be that box to box. He needs to just have a sitter, a box to box, and a number 10. So as long as it's like that, as long as it's not 2 sitters, I'm not too sure. But again, I'm worried. But just to touch on Matondo, I don't think he's ready. I think Matondo's another Diallo right now, and that we might need to wait till January to see the best of this boy.
That's hard.
He's coming. See for me, he's coming off two assists last week. His pace. We're talking about their forward, Martin Boyle's pace. So we've got somebody that can do the same. See the crossfield ball from Goldson.
Mm-hmm.
If Goldson's going into centre park, it opens up Kent as an option. It opens up your option with Matondo in behind, and I think that might drop them back deeper and let the likes of your Tillmans and your Launces get on the ball at the edge of the box. Where, let's be honest, all the names we've just lined off there. Jack, don't get me wrong, scored an absolute belter in the cup final. Scores maybe 2 worldies this season, but Kamara, Lundstrom, Jack, Davis, none of them have got that. I'm going to have 3 or 4 shots for 30 yards, and I see that as being where Lawrence comes in. To go on your point, Martin, whereby if Gio's sitting the night with his wee tactic board up in his bedroom wall saying, I'm playing Sands at centre half, so I'm going to need to play 2 sitting defenders. We'll see if you've not got any trust in Sands at centre half. Give Leon King his chance.
Yeah,
why are we, rather than playing somebody in their natural position, we're shoehorning somebody else in, which then means we need to go with 2 sitting midfielders. So see if rather than having 2 sitting midfielders, play a centre half. He's not playing for the B team this year, I believe, Leon King. He's solely in the first team. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So
he played a couple of weeks ago.
So for you've got to give him the chance. If you've no confidence in Sands, you've got to play King. Unless, what is the issue with Davies? Does anybody know what the issue is? It's been very quiet about him.
I don't know. Can I just say very quickly, John Batchelor, super chat. Thank you very much, John.
2 cans of super lager for you, Martin. Class, that'll be you sleeping.
Do you know what I'm on now? I'm on the Iron Brew Extra. If Iron Brew Extra fancy sponsoring the podcast, then you can do. Just email rangersrabble@gmail.com if anybody is watching. No, they will occasionally, like Charlie McCann was brought up to the first team squad, but doesn't look like he's going to get any minutes. So he does get games in the B team, because I don't believe the rule is still there.
If they play 3 games, they can't go back.
5, yeah.
I think they've done away with that. I think that rule's gone.
So as I say, see next year, you're looking at Davis not getting another year. you're looking at Arfield not getting another year. So that frees up that squad player role for... Arfield's another one we've not spoke about, by the way. He could creep into the team tomorrow.
He could.
To break the lines.
Yeah, and listen, that's exactly the kind of place that you could play Arfield and he would do a job like at Livingston.
I believe that he's an impact player this season, but he played the game at the start, didn't he? And he was very poor. But against tired legs and tired minds, when we've kept the ball for 70% of the time in 60 minutes, bringing him on like we did at Livy, he'll definitely find spaces. But next year, you're talking about losing Davis, you're talking about losing Arfield, and for me, that's where Lowry comes in. That's where your Charlie McCann's come in. Because
are we going to lose Davis? By the way, I would not be surprised if Davis played some games and they get another year. The boy, I think he could play for another 2 years.
I'd be very surprised if Davis and Arfield, either one of them was there next season. Very surprised.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Davis got another year. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they maybe hummed and hawed this season, but I think every game he's played in this season, I thought he's looked just as sharp as he has over the last 2-3 years.
What about his pass the other night to Dav, man?
But you're calling. I know. I think. I don't know. I think he could easily play on. I wouldn't be surprised if he got another year. But I think I'm wanting the squad to get refreshed. It's time for a new. That's where I would have took Arfield, Davis, let them all go refresh the squad. But we've decided not to do that. I worry about the boys like Lowry, McCann, and King. I worry. I do worry because these boys are not going to hang about.
I think Rangers know that. Rangers know that. I think there's a plan. There's been clearly a plan put in place in front of them that's going, this is a plan we've got for you. Are you happy with that? Rangers aren't silly enough to just no play them and expect them to be happy.
Aye,
bro.
Was that a question there? I think I don't know. I still worry. I think Alex Lowry's a precocious talent that perhaps would turn around and say, if you want to go and grab your dictionary. No, he is, and I think he could maybe go like that. You know what? I'll just go to a Chelsea or something like that. I don't care. He's confident in himself. I think he needs to be getting game time this season. He needs to get game time because he's a special player.
That'll come from
right. Predictions time. Because we're going to finish up now. It's been 2 hours and 2 minutes. Alexander, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. He's going 3-1 for Rangers. Cholak first goal scorer. Alan?
Sticking to 3-0. I'm going to go Tillman first goal scorer.
Ross?
2-0 Rangers. Cholak to score 2.
Exact same as Gallant. JD?
1 each Martin Boyle.
1 each. I can just see Wolf sitting at him now.
I honestly don't know why we bother with this guy. Honestly.
What an animal.
Let me explain that. I've been putting such a fucking downer here. Like, this was by the way, we are playing well. We've got a new squad, a lot of young boys. Your Tillman's, Lawrence looks brilliant. We look like we've got a really good chance this season. And I just feel like, you know what? This is a joke. Anyway, I'm thinking Tav. It's time for Tav to get a goal. But it's going to be a tight one against these guys. So I'm saying 2-1 Tav.
Can I go with Walter Zenga? He's going 7-2 to Rangers and Tav to get 3 penalties. If that's not a £5 free bet use, I don't know what is. Curry's going 4-1. Cholak double. I personally think Cholak will get the first goal as well. That's just my opinion.
Martin, what's your opinion on Cholak? He will be a better player and score more goals than who?
Chris Boyd. If he's given the same amount of years as Chris Boyd and he's given the same service, he will score more goals than Chris Boyd. Yes.
I'll put a prediction out there. Cholak will be Rangers' top goal scorer this season.
100%. Yeah.
That's not bold, Ross. Everyone said that. Come on, son.
Have they? Aye. I must have fell asleep by the time you said that in the podcast before I came back.
I've not said it.
Right, listen, Chris Boyd, phenomenal striker. You give him the ball and he scores the goals, 100%. I'm just looking at what I've seen for Cholak so far, and I think he's a more natural finisher than Chris Boyd.
What? He's a better footballer than Chris Boyd. He's not a more natural finisher than Chris Boyd.
I think he is,
personally. I think whoever it was that says your dealer's just arrived at the door was spot on, by the way.
Right, I think he needs to go now.
Not all allowed to go on opinion. Are we not all allowed our own opinion?
No, I think
We're not allowed to debate it.
No.
I think here's a prediction then. I think Čolak will play more games for Rangers this season than Alfredo Morelos.
Due to injury?
No, due to selection. I think Van Bronckhorst's are very much, if you're in possession of the jersey, it's your jersey. I think that's why the other night when they asked about is Morelos going to come back, why did you not play Morelos? And he said, no, I never even thought about bringing him on. If Čolak's doing the business, Čolak's doing the harrying, Čolak's doing the graft, and Čolak's scoring the goals, mate, I think Morelos is... There's the other question. Is he no playing Morelos the now because he knows that there's something in the pipeline? Because if Morelos is going into the last year's deal, then does he know that there's interest? Is there stuff going on in the background we don't know about?
I just don't think Morelos is fit enough. Do you know what? I'm going to stop making points because I'm getting absolutely hammered. I'm looking through these comments here.
Yep.
I'm getting absolutely hammered. Listen, I'm just saying what I see for Čolak and the way that he's
played 4 games or something.
And I'm just, it's a feeling I've got, the same feeling I had with Sibo, that he's going to come good. It's just that feeling in the pit of my stomach that I've got that I think he's
still going about Sibo, man. I can't believe this.
I just think that.
Anyway. The best thing Sibo ever did was that photo shoot on the beach in the budgie smugglers, man. Remember that?
Was that Sibo?
Aye.
I just remember being at Isaacson's goal against Aberdeen in the last minute.
I had the calendar
for 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Aye. Anyways, thank you very much, Ross, Alan, JD. Thank you to everybody watching. Please do like and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you always know when a show is going to be on. If you are in a position to and you want to, then consider becoming a member. We've got member content every Sunday. The more people that sign up, the more member shows there will be. And the last time I checked, we were on 63 or 64 members. So keep them coming and we'll get you more shows out. We'll be back tomorrow at 11:30 for pre-match build-up. We're going to have a half-time show tomorrow as well for the first time.
Like the Super Bowl, who's singing?
JD's singing. JD's singing.
We're back to that Dundee Hamilton earlier on.
Yeah. And of course, we'll have post-match reaction as well. So thank you everybody for tuning in and we'll see you tomorrow at 11:30.